Okay, 3, 2, and 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Estate Planning Expert Series, a show where I interview financial advisors who are making estate planning a greater part of their practice. I'm so excited to introduce my guest today, Denise Zapata, who is the CEO and founder of Zapata Private Wealth Group, a holistic financial planning practice that serves individuals, families, and business owners with truly comprehensive financial planning and wealth management, a full suite of financial services. Now, since introducing estate planning earlier this year, Denise has made it a core part of her practice. She has an every client, every time approach, which I love. And the results speak for themselves. She has seen measurable growth and deeper relationships, which we're going to talk about today. So, Denise, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here and to share, a lot of our experiences with all of you.
Awesome. And obviously, Denise has a fabulous background and fabulous hair. And I'm just going to say, I'm giggling because we just spent the last 10 minutes trying to get this live going with the servers down this week with AWS. It has been crazy. It's been a crazy technology week, but we're here.
Yes.
So, Denise, I want to return back to this every client, every time approach that you take in your firm. What inspired that shift and how has it changed the way you and your team serve your clients?
I think more than anything, one of the most important parts of, our practice is understanding every part of a client's financial, situation. And when it comes to that is every client, every time, we realize, do we know if every client has a trust? And so how can we provide this service to them? And so when we meet and we do reviews, or sometimes not even just during the reviews, we're asking them, do you have a trust? And we've realized that a lot of them don't. And, they're not protecting their home. They don't know who's going to take care of their kids. And so it really has deepened our relationship with clients. We've been able to find out things and, assets we weren't aware of, and deepening those relationships with the heirs, which is, now that we have the ability to actually plan for them. And I think that's really, really key.
Yeah, that's truly protecting their legacy, right? It's not just your clients, but it's their children, their children's children, multi-generational. This is so important. Now, since implementing estate planning, you have shared with me that you've seen a 15 to 20% increase in revenue. So let's dive a little deeper there. What's been that biggest driver of growth? Has it been more referrals? Is it just new client opportunities or just stronger and deeper client relationships?
I would say it's all of it because we have received referrals from clients, which is nice because we're receiving referrals from clients that we wouldn't have known of in the past had we not done estate planning. Because sometimes clients maybe don't want to hire us for the financial services aspect, but just the estate planning. And then deepening those relationships, going back to the idea that, I think that it is really important to understand a fact actually that one of my colleagues just recently told me here in the office, and he mentioned how a large part of, the generational wealth is going to go from one advisor to another. And so for us, having those solid relationships is really going to be key. And I realized, recently that in order for us to grow and to not have those assets leave, well, we need to get to know the kids. It should be a genuine relationship too, because in the process, you get to know the kids, you get to know dynamics, and sometimes you realize things that, may not have come up had you not asked, let's have a meeting with your children. Who's going to do your, healthcare directive, your power of attorney, who's your trustee, and they're going to inherit the assets as well, which is really, really important.
That is so important. I don't think enough advisors realize this, right? With this wealth transfer, there definitely will be an advisor transfer. Opportunities for some advisors and the opposite of that for others, right? Who aren't taking the time to really go
Right.
deeper with their current clients. So, love that you're doing it and it's so meaningful and it's going to continue your business, right? It's the continuity of your business as well. And
Correct.
it's impactful all the way around. Now, have there been any client moments that really affirmed for you, like, wow, this, implementing estate planning and doing this for my clients, like this is the meaningful work that I wanted to do. Maybe there's a story or an experience you have with a client that was kind of that moment for you.
Yeah. So I would say definitely a lot of moments, but one of them is, a client that I met contemplated retiring, did not want to retire, and then he got really sick, unfortunately.
Mm.
So it was kind of an emergency trust that he had to do with his wife, and we were just getting to know her because I knew him through through a referral. But eventually, unfortunately, he passed away. And in the process, the trust was never funded. There was a lot of issues with the trust, the attorney that, and again, it doesn't happen always, but in this situation, the wife was kind of left out there and we were handling all the financial side. But then in the process, we realized the trust had a lot of issues. And so
Mm.
she came to us when we started doing the estate planning. And finally, a big part of it was we received a card from her thanking us, for doing this. And that was really, I think, like kind of the highest point for us to realize, wow, like what we're doing changes lives because she really did feel complete in the process. We were able to help her to actually complete the healthcare directives, to do the power of attorneys, and to fund the trust, which a lot of people forget. There's a lot of
Mhm,
do it
mhm.
yourself plans, which is fine. But at the end of the day, you need to make sure that, all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted. And that's a big part of, we can do the hand holding of a client wants, or we can just let them go on their own. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, let's dive a little deeper into that because I know you use technology to help scale estate planning to your clients. You use Trust and Will, and I think that's helpful to a lot of advisors because there's a process that's built in, right? So you're not forgetting anything, they're not forgetting anything, but it's still on you to have conversations about funding the trust, etc. So when it comes to technology, are there any specific features or tools in the platform that have maybe made your estate planning process smoother or more impactful for your clients?
So, number one, the fact that we can work with clients in all of the states where I have clients, and we're
Yeah.
actually in multiple states. But the biggest one would be the actual attorney benefit. I found that it was important for me to invest in that, to
Mm.
provide it as part of the package when I provide estate planning for clients. And that has been really key because even we're learning that certain states, treat basically marriages, partnerships, inheritance, all of that separate property very different. And so making this, quick three-way call with the attorney, which we like to be a part of, really brings in the expert. And I think that's something that really, puts us in a place where it differentiates us from a lot of other firms because we provide that as part of the service that we provide, the white glove service we provide to our clients.
Keyword white glove. You are a premium plan advisor with Trust and Well. And if you're listening to this and don't know what that means, essentially you pay a flat single fee to Trust and Will every year. And then you have 100 estate plans that you can shell out to clients, even to prospects. Some advisors use it for prospects so that they don't have to get involved in that end, which can actually be a barrier for some clients. Like, oh, I'll get to it. I know I have to pay for it. Like I'll do it later. And they don't really ever end up doing it. So great way to implement it if you offer truly comprehensive financial services and wealth management. For advisors who are listening in right now, Denise, maybe they're hesitant to incorporate estate planning. Maybe they don't even know this stuff exists, right? I still meet advisors today who say, oh, yeah, I mean, I know an attorney, but that's about as far as I would go. I'm not an estate planning attorney. Why would I use technology? What advice would you share with them in getting started?
I think I would suggest to definitely take the first step because at the end of the day, if I understand that sometimes we don't know the technology or we don't understand, but I think it's really key to do that because it's a lot easier than you think, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, I love that. It's a lot easier than you think. Spot on. We're
Yes,
going to end on that note. Denise, thank you so much for being a guest today, for sharing your good energy, for sharing your advice, your tips, your process. I know this interview will be helpful to other professionals in our space. And for all of you who are still listening, thank you for being here today and always tuning into the show. If you want to learn more about Trust and Will for advisors, you can scan the QR code right here at the bottom of the screen, or just head over into your browser, trustandwill.com/advisors. We'd love to work with you. We'd love to help you. And Denise, thank you so much again.
thank you so much for having me.